Hello, hello, and welcome to this week's episode of The Hard Choice. Simple steps for showing up. My name is Brad Draper. I am your host. I'm grateful for you. This is awesome. Let's do this. I had to fix my light. For some reason, I leave my light on sometimes, my overhead light. Then it messes things up, and I don't like that. And had a good drink. Let's get a drink from my water bottle. Feeling a little parched. Side note, one of my new favorite things is caffeine capsules. You can get 100 milligram, 50 milligram, 200 milligram capsules, and then you can turn any drink you want into a caffeinated beverage. My flavor of choice is electrolytes. Awesome. And side note, I actually just ordered all the raw ingredients to make my own electrolytes because that's exciting. And they're going to be peach flavored or peach ring flavored, like the candy peach rings. Super excited about that. The smallest batches I can get of stuff will make several thousand servings in most of the capacities. And that is awesome. I am so grateful to be sitting right here conversing with you. I'm so grateful for the opportunity I have to be able to do this on a regular occurrence. I've come to learn for myself one of my primary purposes here on earth is to teach others, is to support, to love, and to teach. I started this podcast because I knew I had a message and I wanted to curate delivering that message. I love speaking from stages. I love interacting with audiences. That is a learned skill. While I start, I don't have many opportunities to be on a stage. So I thought, let's do a podcast. I don't edit these, as you can tell. I mix my words, I mumble my words, and I'm human. And that's awesome. That's reality. And with that idea, I practice my stage presence. I practice my stage voice. I practice my cadence. I practice my pauses. I practice my inflections. I practice these things. And with that practice, see? I have been told more than once, how is it that you are so articulated with your mouth, with your words? You're so curated in your speech, your delivery. And I've actually been told this by many people that I mentor. I said, it's because of my podcast, because I get the reps in, sitting in a chair in front of a camera, recording my thoughts. There was once upon a time that I used to go off of a script. And that script, I voice recorded, therefore it was written in a way that I speak. Well, that was before I had a YouTube, so I just read the script. And then by episode 18 of this series or so, I decided to go off script and turn on a camera. And that was scary. That was going out of my comfort zone. Had to learn how to create a YouTube channel and have YouTube Studio and upload to YouTube and do all those things. And how to mix video with audio with this mic because I don't feed it straight into the camera. I go straight into mixer boards. I had to learn new skills. Well, now I can create, edit, and post very, very quickly. I have templatized pretty much everything. And so I can, especially the audio portion, I can do that in under 5 minutes. Thanks to AI to give my descriptions and my show notes. Use technology to your advantage. It's amazing what it'll do for you. But on to my topic that I was thinking about while I was riding my bike. That's kind of a themed topic this time of year, because I'm on my bike often. I spend a great deal of time in the saddle so I can train my saddle. Interesting. Train saddle so I can train my saddle, right? I train on a saddle so I can train my saddle. And I used to have this idea when I was walking, back when I was a Christian missionary, and even before that, I would notice when I was walking down the street, and I'm sure you've had this before. You're walking down the street or driving down the street lights are on, it's dark outside, and as you're approaching the street light turns off. Have you had this? I'm sure you have. I'm actually certain that you have. Because you're like me. That's why you're here. So I know that. And as I would approach, the light would turn off. And my immediate thought for many, many years, in fact, decades, was the darkness around me. Because I noticed as I would approach, the light would turn off. And as I looked in my rear view mirror, or if I turned around as I was walking, it would turn back on. The darkness that followed me. And I used to think that. I used to put kind of a lot of energy into that. And sometimes it would actually freak me out. I would freak myself out thinking about this dark energy that was around me. And my frame of mind was, I am striving so hard to be worthy and to be the light and to shed light onto the world, to be a God-fearing man and to keep the covenants I made with my God. I try so hard to do that the adversary is striving to thwart my efforts. And I thought that from the ages of probably, honestly, ages of 10 or 11 or 12, all the way into my 30s. So yeah, over 2 decades that I thought that premise. Until one day I decided everything could change. I was riding my bike a couple of years ago. Maybe it was last year. It was actually last year. So I was 35 years old when this happened. I was riding my bike and the light shut off. It did this all the time. This was so common for me. And I thought, maybe there's another way to think about this. Maybe there's a reframe in which I have not yet considered. What if my light is so bright that street light recognizes and shuts itself off? Because streetlights shut off when the sensor recognizes there's enough light. What if my light is so bright that those streetlights don't feel that they need to be on? So they shut themselves off. They lend their light to me. Isn't that an interesting take? Totally flipped, right? That my light is so bright that they don't need to be on and that they lend their light to me. Not that my light is bright and the darkness is, or the adversary is pulling the light, but that the light succumbs to me because my light is so bright. And this is an idea that I had and that I decided. And in that moment, I actually said verbally out loud with my mouth, my light is so bright, you do not need to be on. Thank you. And I receive your light. Almost as if I'm absorbing the light put off by the street lamp. I decide in this moment that my light is bright enough. You don't need to be on. And from that moment on, I have never once had the idea when the light shuts off, the darkness around me, like I used to have. Exclusively now, even as of this morning, on the day I rode my bike today, the light shut off. And my immediate first thought, before I actually had intentional thought, but my unconscious thought was, thank you, I receive your light. I am the light. And I'm not using this in a negative fashion to be blasphemous. So please do not take that the wrong way. I'm not replacing Christ. But how much light do you carry? And here is the lesson that I want to teach you. Here's the lesson I want you to learn. Even something that you have considered to be true or a truth for yourself, your little t, right? Not necessarily the big T, but your t, your truth. Even something you've held true your entire life can change in an instant. If you have an unresourceful thought, you can change that thought in an instant. It doesn't matter how long you've believed it, thought it, had faith in it, had hope in it, whatever it is. Because you can't have faith and hope in dark, unresourceful things. I want you to consider that everything can change in a moment. If you reflect back on previous episodes on being in a moment, things can and will change in a moment if you make a decision that they can and will change. It's in the decision that this comes to pass. You decide. Everything's a choice. Everything. Where you live, what you do, what you eat, how you sleep, how you behave, it doesn't matter. Every situation in your life, every moment, every second, everything is a choice that you must make. And with that choice, your life is decided. You choose. Remember, your thoughts precede your actions, and your actions precede your opportunities. That's all a choice. Where you focus, you find. It's all a choice. Everything in your life is a choice. You can choose to think unresourcefully, or you can choose to think resourcefully. It's up to you. If you have a very negative, unresourceful, tired existence, maybe you need to make a choice to change your lens, to change your view, to change what it is that you're doing and how you're approaching it. You are the catalyst. You are the caveat. You are the path. Your mind is the path. The way you think, the way you believe, the way you hope, what you have faith in, that all matters. It is amazing what will occur when you make a choice, when you change your thought process, when you choose to behave in a different fashion. Everything will then change. So that begs the question, what in your life needs to change so you can get to where you're trying to go? You know the old question that I say all the time, what have you not yet considered? That when you consider it, will change everything. I was conversing with a neighbor today. He's been out of work now for a few months, and his wife was also let go from her position within like the same week or two. And they've been looking ever since. And his kids and my kids played today. And I asked him how it's going. And I've heard this through my wife via his wife. So I've heard this, but I heard it from his mouth now. He said, I have so many interviews and I'm so qualified. But at the end of the day, and I'm coming to learn, I don't know the right people. Because the people getting hired are friends with the hiring manager, some executive in the company, or the CEO. They know somebody there and they get the position over me. That's what he told me. And I said, well, one, if you have so many interviews and that's the same outcome every time, there's only one common denominator. That's you. So one, are you certain that is actually the case? Or are you missing the mark? Blinded by missing the mark or looking beyond the mark? And if that is true, if the other candidate knows more people than you, keep in mind, it's not how many people know you or you know, it's how many people know you. So that candidate has more people that know them. Well, the natural remedy to that is to know more people. Have you gone to networking events? Living here in Utah, there's one every night, quite literally. There's one every afternoon. There's breakfast events, lunch events, and dinner events. They're all the time. In fact, the events that people overlook are the car events. And those happen throughout the warmer months every week, sometimes several days per week. They're cars and coffee, cars and curry, cars and caffeine, just car events. And I've actually been asked, why do I go to so many car events? One, I love cars, but I'm not going because of the cars. I'm going because I want to know the people that own the Ferraris, the Lamborghinis, the McLarens. I want to know those people because those people are business owners and high-level executives. I want to curate those relationships, which I have. Most of my friendships, by and large, come from those group of people now because of going to those events. So I asked him, are you going to these events? He said, I have not yet done that. It's probably the last thing I haven't done. Well, you've known that these candidates are chosen over you, or at least this is what you believe, because they know more people. You've known this now, and I heard this several months ago, probably 2 months ago. But you have yet to go to events. Maybe you should start seeking those events. Maybe you should consider to get out and find them, to find the executives, to find the CEOs, to find the people that need to know you so you can get the position that you want. It's just a shift. It's just a choice. And everything can change in an instant. That is what I have for you. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. Thank you for continuing to listen. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for listening to this whole thing, going to the end. You demonstrate by your actions, you hoe to the end of the row, which, by the way, is an episode early on in the series. I'm grateful for you. You can find me on social, Mr. Brad Draper. Let's have a conversation. Reach out. Like this thing, subscribe to it, download it for future listenings. Until next week, I love you guys. Bye.